Okay, recording has started. We are officially on the way. Happy Tuesday. How's everybody doing this week? Amy got 2 thumbs, 1 thumb.
I'm feeling pretty good. I think we're all feeling pretty good.
Awesome. Glad you guys are feeling good. Definitely, I guess, kind of enjoying this confusingly warm weather. Oh, happy belated birthday, Amy. Awesome. You're a November baby like like my wife. Her birthday is next week. A Monday after your birthday. It's her birthday. Cool. So tonight, I'm not gonna hold you guys with too much in the beginning because we got a lot to cover. So a little background, this advanced session is focused on, building on top of what you guys did and the fundamentals, right? So we go deeper into entrepreneurship and into like actually running a business. So I'm gonna really focus on a few key points. There's some things from the previous presentation that I didn't go through, and I saved it for tonight because it was a lot to go through in one class. So we're gonna finish up on marketing, and then we're gonna jump into cash flow. So we're gonna combine those 2 segments tonight. And then we're gonna spend a little bit of time just going over what your final projects should be looking like. So at the end of the advanced cohort, you're either going to do an interview or present on your business. Did you guys all see the email on like what the end of class presentation should be looking like? Okay, and then I'm gonna leave some time at the end for us to talk it over too, in case anyone has any questions and thoughts. All right, so I'm just gonna load up all the bullets here so we could get a high level. All right, so we ended the last class that I gave you guys on marketing effectively. And so these bullets just kind of outline the high level steps you want to take towards having an effective marketing plan. Has anyone here heard of a marketing plan or practiced a marketing plan or put one into play before? Okay, so a marketing plan could be very simple, right? Could be, you want to get people to come to your event, let's say your party. So the marketing plan is talk to people and tell them about your party. But you got to think about, all right, who am I inviting to the party, right? That's your target audience. So that could be the same thing as a target audience here. Like, who do you actually want to come? So maybe you want just your closest friends and it's just them. Maybe you want everyone in your class. Maybe you want to open it up to everybody in the school, right? So there's different levels of target audiences. So when you're planning your party, you think about the audience, who's going to be in attendance. If you have a budget, some people might say, you know what, I'm going to make some flyers. I don't know if people still make flyers, but you could print some flyers, which might cost some kind of money, just a little bit, right? Get some paper and ink. And you could open up to a whole block party because you want everybody to be rocking, right? So in marketing for your business, it's very similar, right? You think about, hey, what is it that I want to do? Who do I want to target? And now to help you do that when it comes to your business, Jaden, Trey, can you help him? Can you help him? When you think about your business, right? There's something called a SWOT analysis. Does anyone remember that from the fundamentals? Drop a S in the chat if you remember any part any part of the SWOT analysis. So each letter in SWOT stands for something. No. All right. So
Was it the circle? No.
No, wait. Was it as statistics?
instead
Whoa.
if it was
Mommy.
so I'll give this one to y'all. So the SWOT analysis is your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats.
I didn't have
I was trying to get my notebook out.
Uh,
I didn't have the name. I have SWOT here and I listed strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. I just didn't have the name.
Gotcha. Yeah. So definitely make the note here, write it out in a way where you do SWOT and do strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, because you're going to hear this a lot, especially if you guys continue down the path of business. Like if you go to college and you major in business administration, or if you go to like whatever kind of further studies in business, SWOT analysis is something that you want to at least understand the basics of, and it's not difficult. So now that it's up here, do you guys remember what each one stands for? Meaning like, what is the strength, what is the weakness, what is the opportunity or and threat?
Oh my goodness, we're gonna have to go back through the fundamentals course again.
No, wait. I was
What?
looking. All right, so I think when we did in the fundamentals, we watched a video about it, and so it was like a video of a customer being sarcastic. Oh no, a cash register, some guy being sarcastic to the customer. And a threat that I wrote down was that the customer may not return because he may not understand your humor. And opportunity, no. A strength of that was the humor and human connection, the customer and the register guy through their exchange. And yeah.
Okay. So so Professor Dre went over that and he had the video. So yeah, just from a high level, strengths, what you would list as your strengths or your business's strengths are things that are good for you or your business, things that you guys are really good at, right? So let's say for Amy, when she did sunglasses, like Amy knows how to draw, do a little something. So that's a strength, right? But you might have a weakness in another area where, you know what, I don't have the skill set to do this thing. That may be a weakness. So the opportunities between your strengths and your weaknesses is usually the opportunities is usually closing the gap between your strengths and your weaknesses. Threats is specifically talking about, hey, what can come against my business or yourself? So as a business, a threat might be a competitor. A threat might be, well, that's number one, right? Someone else is selling sunglasses too, and you got a sunglass company. So now that's a threat. So it's like, wait, how do we compete with this other person or other business? On a job interview, the threat is you're not the only one applying for that job, right? So when you're interviewing, the threat is, hey, are you gonna be more convincing than the other candidates? So those are your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Understanding that when you go into your marketing plan, you usually want to lean into your strengths and your opportunities. So you want to promote the things that your business is great at, right? We have the best. I know if you guys ever seen a cell phone commercial, what do they all say? They have the best what? Everyone has the best of this as a phone company. Verizon, T-Mobile.
5G wireless, something related to that.
Exactly. Everybody has the best
cameras.
network. I don't know how it's possible, but every single phone company has the best network, right? So, but that leans into their product marketing. Price, yeah, sometimes that's an opportunity.
Cameras
on the phones, right? So they might see an opportunity and say, hey, this company is charging, let's say $59.99 a month for their unlimited plan. So we're going to charge $49.99 a month. That's an opportunity. we can undercut them a little bit in pricing. So when you're thinking about your marketing plan, you do want to explore those things as well, because you want to, if possible, expose those things like, oh, we respond faster. When you call us, you'll get an actual human and not a robot on the phone, you know, stuff like that. Does that make sense? All right. So this slide is just kind of zooming in on the things that you want to look at when you're thinking about a target audience. I already gave you 2 here. So these are things, some of the top level things that companies consider when they're trying to identify their target audience. Is everybody clear on what target audience means as it relates to a business? Go ahead, you had your hand up, Jeremy.
Wait, you asked if we know what it is or if we can explain it.
If you know what it is, like if you understand
Oh
the
yeah,
term.
yeah.
Okay, so for some, target audience might just be how old are the individuals that I'm targeting? What is there a specific gender that I'm targeting? What are some other data points that you might use to identify your target audience? Got age and gender. What else? What else could we use?
Location.
Location, that's a good one. What else? What else? Give me 2 more.
Well, in my case, probably financial stability. Because if I want to sell a house and you can't afford the house, you can't be my target audience. So
There you go. Income or financial stability. Yes. One more. These are good.
I guess something that like a person specifically is looking for. So like, let's say you're selling like a makeup product, so you want to sell it where you know there's people that want that product, maybe
Absolutely a need, right?
like location, maybe.
Location is also a good one. Yeah. So in a nutshell, you know, what problems are you solving? How can you fix it or be of service, right? And you want to identify the people, like you said, Amy, that need what you're selling. So if you're selling makeup, yeah, you want to find out, hey, who's into makeup? Who cares about what I'm selling? And once you identify these things, right? Hey, what's the age group that I'm aiming for? Some people have a very specific age group that they're aiming for. Some people have a wide age group. They're like, look, I don't care how old you are. If you got money to spend, you're my target, right? Same thing with gender, same thing with income. It could be narrow or wide. With income, though, as you said, Jeremy, there's for the home market. Yeah, it's very specific. It's like, no, I need people that have a job, that could afford to make payments, that has a good debt to income ratio, so they could qualify for this loan. You know, so by identifying these needs, these are just some examples, but think about your product and you outline, hey, what does my actual target audience need for this product to be relevant to them? And that's going to be another baseline component to how you create your marketing plan, because you want to speak to your target audience, right? All right, so I want to pull out my notes here because I know I wrote down what everybody here is into. But I want you guys to, gonna do a pop-up target audience exercise here. Let me see. All right, so I want everyone to take a moment, like 2 minutes. It's not gonna be long. Write out, I'm gonna list out some different companies, and then I want you guys to kind of just create a marketing kind of pitch to your target audience, right? gonna drop in the chat what each of you are pitching. So you're gonna think about your target audience and then kind of put together your marketing pitch that's gonna be catered specifically to your target audience. All right, so Amy, since you mentioned makeup, you're doing a pitch for high-end makeup. So Jeremy, you're gonna do luxury homes. So you're talking some $1 million listings here. Sean, you're gonna do you want to work for McLaren, right? Now, Ernest, you were looking to do the hospital, right?
Yeah.
All right. So you're gonna be selling, your target audience is gonna be, and it's not gonna be cliche. Your target audience is gonna be some pain medicine. Yeah, you gotta write that pitch for this pain medicine. Now, basically, all I want to see you do is think about, hey, what's the target audience and how can I make this applicable to them?
I have a question.
And sorry, go ahead.
What do you mean by motivation?
Oh, like, I mean, it could go a lot of ways, but generally, like, what is their motivation? What's their motivation to, buy your product or
Like
your
what
service?
persuades them?
Yeah. So for like a luxury home buyer, like what's motivating them to look at, luxury homes? How can you speak to that? And wait, you got your mom's name up, so now I'm blanking on your name.
That's Jonathan.
Let's get your name in here. Thank you. Jonathan, did I spell your name right? Okay. Jonathan, were you doing the clothing? Were you into the clothing lines or no?
No, I was sports.
Sports?
Yeah. That's
Right.
what I was.
So you're selling official licensed jerseys. So whichever, NBA, officially licensed NBA, NFL, MLB, whichever one. Pick one of the
NBA.
genres. All right. So take a few minutes, do a marketing pitch, like an elevator pitch, 30 seconds that you feel will fit your target audience. Oh, Bonnie, sorry. Bonnie, you didn't even say nothing. Of course, Bonnie's gonna be doing a French bakery. So how you getting, what's your marketing pitch to get people into that bakery?
Maybe a commercial.
Oh no, just write out a 30-second pitch.
Oh, okay.
So what?
Wait,
what
I have
what
to
would
write?
that? Yeah, everybody's gonna write a 30-second pitch, elevator pitch to their target audience.
I didn't know we were writing. I mean, I could type it.
Or type. Guess writing is now could be now a slightly antiquated term. Like, no, find a pencil, find a number 2 pencil. Right out. The pencils are still around.
Time for donuts. The beat go ham, no time for cold cuts. The game like big fish can't get your nut. Yeah, I'm still independent. Ain't sold a million records yet. Used to be on my checklist. Big diamonds don't need a necklace. Look, we built the sound like it's double speed Tetris. I cannot build without God in it. We built the sound, you can't copy this. I never brag, it's just confidence. I never rap for your compliments. I wrote this one for the indie grind. If you ain't signed on the dotted line, can't buy my soul with no dollar signs. The industry so full of troglodytes. I don't follow trends. Say that with my chest. No, I will not bend. Gang time in it. Gang time. I don't follow trends. Say that with my chest. No, I will not bend. Gang time. Run it up. 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 You gotta put in that work, dog. I put the kingdom first. I know that you gotta wait for your turn sometimes to build something really sustainable. Work on your catalog so the day that you
One more minute.
off, you'll see it's not just a once off. You put in time, the harvest is ready, it's ripe. I thank God for the payment. That's a solid foundation. When I finally make it, I give God all the praises. G.O.D. who conquered evil forces. I don't trust in chariots or fortresses. Yeah, I walk by faith. I don't follow trends. Say that with my chest. No, I will not bend. Gang time in it. Gang time. I don't follow trends. Say that with my chest. No, I will not bend. Gang time.
Okay. All right. Who would like to share their marketing pitch? Go ahead, Jeremy.
All right, so age 18 and above, so that shows that you're mature enough to afford, and I know you won't like damage the property, nothing like that. Gender, anybody can purchase a home. It's not limited to anybody. Income would be preferably 7 figures because it is a luxury home. Motivation is luxury, so it would appear nicely and your money wouldn't be wasted since everything would be like better in better shape because it costs more. And problems to solve for, I'm trying to solve housing. If you don't got a house and you're looking for a house, and to satisfy the customer, so like it can just fit all your needs of whatever you require or ask.
Okay. Cool. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. I mean, on the how would you uniquely, I guess, promote to that luxury audience? Because I know for the housing solution is great for like the average buyer or first-time home buyers, right? They just trying to get into a home. But what would be the motivation for a luxury home buyer? Like they're not necessarily just trying to solve a housing issue. They're looking for something a bit different, right?
Yeah, so what I would say is I would try to, if you know what rhetoric is, I would just try to use the facts of the house, like how everything is more improved than your standard house because it's a luxury house, so there's a difference. And I would sort of appeal to their emotions, try to persuade them to see how
There you go.
this house is better than
There you
whatever
go.
other house is on the market. So
For them, it's all about the experience and the, like you said, the the emotion that you connect to the home and really selling them on that as an experience. Cool. All right, who wants to jump in? Vonnie, you're on mute if you
I have a
want to
question.
jump in.
what was for motivation? Can you explain motivation again for a second? Like
Oh,
that's
these
what
these are
motivates you
just
or
yeah, these are just some examples of like data points you could use for your target audience. So motivation leads into like what's their motivation. So like so someone for makeup, they might want to, look a certain way, or they might want to explore different looks, so like that's their motivation. For someone that's, I don't know, buying coffee, they may want a pick me up, or they might just like the flavor. So you might have different coffee audiences. So like what's motivating them to seek that kind of product? Cool. Anybody else want to share? Now you could also have written an actual pitch that just incorporates some target audience data points. Okay, Bonnie, got you. All right, go ahead, Sean.
So the age would be 25 or and up. So it's like, because some people like in their 20s are just getting out of college, so it would just like some people have like job opportunities after that, and then male or female, doesn't matter who. The income has to be like a lot, because luxury cars are a lot. So like maybe 300,000 plus a year, and then the motivation would be status and impressing other people. Some people want to, pull up to the club with a nice car to get the ladies.
Stand out.
Yeah, stand out, stuff like that. A problem with you would solve is like comfy travel. So it's like it's very spacious, the car, with like food and drinks inside, or like it won't break down easily, and it will get you where you want to go quickly.
Cool. Thank you for sharing. Go ahead, Jeremy. You got a question or comment?
No, I want to say that I like how we said 25 or older, because the brain fully develops at 25. So anybody under would be prone to like accidents and stuff like that, and they may not be mature enough to drive a car. So I just want to say that was smart on his part to like make it for only people who know everything about cars and like know how to drive and handle a car correctly.
Well, to be clear with the marketing, is really like who you're targeting. Now, even though you're targeting a certain group, others still might be interested. But like this is saying like you're targeting those that are 25 and older. So you're not gonna have a commercial or marketing that's like below a certain, how'd you put it? Younger individuals, usually are communicating differently. So you're going to use terms and images and colors and things like that that kind of lean into those that are 25 and up versus those that are younger. Does that make sense? Like catering to the age groups in that sense. Cool. All right, Bonnie, you're up.
Okay, I'm ready. So it's for any ages, but I'm sure it's for adults because they're the only ones who can afford it. And the gender is any gender.
Unless their parents ask her, their parents.
Yes. And then the gender, it doesn't matter as long as they're gonna eat the food. And then the income is going to be affordable. I'm not going to make it too expensive because I want people to actually buy my food because it's affordable. And then my motivation is to satisfy the customers with a dessert délicieux, a delicious dessert in French, and that's why I said it in French. And yeah, the problem is to solve people who don't have a lot of money, and I could either give it to them for free, or if they have enough money to pay for it, I'll lower the price down for them so that way they can be able to afford it just in case they're hungry and stuff like that.
Look at you helping out the community. Now, be careful though, because you gotta make sure you're covering your expenses. But also, depending on where you market to, affordability might not be a problem. So when you're doing your marketing, and you're targeting certain demographics, it's like you will go to those demographics. And part of your market research, part of your SWOT analysis will be seeing like, okay, if I want to be, let's say, in a sense, a French bakery, what are other French bakeries charging? What are other French bakeries boasting about? Are they boasting about how fresh it is, or the different types of things, you know? But yeah, we had a French bakery in my neighborhood growing up, and I love the fact that they had a $1. It was like they made this nice little butter roll, shot the oven, $1. So that was awesome. Okay, who's next? Ernest, you want to jump in?
So I did pain meds, and then for the age, it's 18 and up, because you have to be at least like 18, I think, in order to actually be prescribed medication. And then,
Some, yeah.
so for gender, it's anyone, because it's medicine.
Everybody got pain.
Yeah, everybody. And then cost, I said $5 at least, because it has like it needs. I think medicine should be affordable for everybody. I think that's very important. Motivation is like if you like are in pain, then obviously you're motivated to get this because you know you want to
Right.
stop the pain, bro.
Pretty easy, right? For that
Yeah.
one.
Problem solving, it can stop the pain at least temporarily, at least for a while. And then I think another important thing is how long it'll take the medication to kick in.
Awesome. And that actually is promoted on certain ones, like the liquid gels on certain pain meds. On the Advils are like, oh, the liquid gels fast acting. So definitely a good point too. Did you guys hear about, there was an individual that purchased the rights for the EpiPen, the pen that folks use that have bad allergies? So it was a government subsidized item for a long time, and then the government sold, I think, the patent to it, and the person immediately took the price up. So then so many people couldn't afford to get an EpiPen that needed it. I think it's since been resolved, but yeah, the dangers of when you privatize certain things that are like the sole availability of something like medicine, and you jack it up. All right, Jonathan, you're up.
All right. I wrote it up kind of like how we did the old ones. So you just read it out.
Okay.
Hello, sports fans. With our official licensed jerseys for the NBA, you can show off your favorite team and player. Support your team today with our clothes, which only cost up to $80. Plus, you can buy your kids and the adults $20 hats and cups, small, medium, and large, made out of recyclable plastic. So when you're going to a game in your city, come to us and we will make it worth your while. That's it.
Awesome. Jonathan, one step ahead of all y'all. That's good. Yeah, because you basically worked everything into your elevator pitch. That was great. So moving forward, right? Remember this part of the exercise, right? The marketing, how you're gonna cater your message to your audience. Because for the end of course session, if you're gonna do either one, if you're gonna do the deck where you present on your business, or if you're gonna do the job interview, the mock interview, either way, you want to kind of do your research, get your target audience locked in, so that way you're catering to those individuals and it's not just kind of too wide or doesn't apply to the folks that you're talking to. All right, we're gonna take a quick break.
Amy hasn't gone yet.
Oh, Amy didn't go yet? My bad.
Yeah, we were just watching as she wrote it in the chat.
She said no. My bad. Go ahead, Amy.
Okay. Well, so I had the high quality makeup, and I didn't write like I wrote like everybody else, like the price and everything. I wrote, are you looking for something new and fresh to wear on your face to walk out every day feeling refreshed? Well, try A to Z's Cosmetics for some of the best high quality makeup lines in the region. It is available for anyone 15 and older. So for my target like audience age, I was thinking around like I guess high schoolers or anyone older, because I feel like that's kind of the age where anybody, feels like they want to, freshen up a bit in the morning. For the prices, I put 20 to 40 because really depends, I guess, on the makeup, because it could be like eyeshadow or lipstick or eyeliner. And since it's high quality, that's my brother. Since it's high quality, yeah. The motivation that I put is that it's safe, because sometimes some makeup, they are tested on animals and stuff. Very sad. So my makeup product is safe. It's not tested on animals, so it's safe to use. It's cruelty free. It's organic. That's the word I was looking for. And the problem that it's solving is that it makes everyone feel beautiful and happy. And it's something that, because especially for first time users for makeup, it's sometimes kind of hard, because you might not know how to use it. So I want it to be so anybody can use it and feel comfortable when they wear the makeup.
Awesome.
Yay.
Awesome.
Everybody has Jonathan had
not to self-cheer. All right, Ernest, I think you had your hand up first.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I did. But
It's all good.
so if you're not testing it on animals, right? You testing it on people?
Well,
Absolutely.
yes. Well, no. I'm not saying. I didn't think it that. I didn't think it that far.
It's understandable. It's understandable.
The thought in my head was that, I know a lot of people don't. I know a lot of people that don't buy makeup because they test it on animals. That was my first thought. Oh, maybe I should make a makeup product that's safe for everybody.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
But I didn't think it that far.
So, hypothetically speaking, what would your method be?
Why y'all grilling? Stop grilling.
Wait, no, because there have been many problems with makeup products where people use it and they get allergic reactions and all that stuff, yada yada.
So
I don't even know how.
I'm stepping in as Amy's representative.
Wait, but I didn't finish.
Me and Jonathan are done. We're not done picking this apart.
No further questions. No further questions, please. No further questions. But makeup.
Okay. I have a different question. It's not related to it. It's not related
Go ahead.
to it. Okay. So, what is your method that's different from testing it on animals? What are you going to test it on?
After the break, we're going to pause for a 10-minute break because we got to jump into cash flow.
After this commercial break, you'll find out.
All right, y'all. See you guys in 10 minutes. So that is 7:23. Take a quick break and we gonna finish strong because we're gonna get into this cash flow. Cool?
Dude, I wish I had cash flow.
Well, now you're gonna know how it works so you can get it in. All right, see you guys in 10 minutes.
Fam on the up, yeah, we tight knit. Time going crazy from the profit. God's favorite vessel, I'm a prophet. Spirit on overflow, beat go sad. Please give me space, I don't need your dap, I don't need your app. God validate me, don't need your double tap. Been in the city since 7 years old. I was raised different, my whole life is show. Atlanta legend, I feel like ice cold. My catalog long, just like River Road. Temptation around, but I never fold. I ain't a full-time, flow crazy like Khan. Had snakes in my line, been cutting and fleeing. Now kingdom I'm seeing, the hits we been teeing. Been in the trenches, all these demons, they been lurking. Treat the booth like a trap, guarantee my wrist be twerking. Mamba Mo, I been working 24/8. I'm tryna be great. The reason they hate, I really don't know. Gon' rip till I go, don't want us for show. Ooh, turn a pulpit to a mosh pit. Fam on the up, yeah we tight knit. Top going crazy from the profit. God's favorite vessel, I'm a prophet. Spirit on overflow, beat go sad. Please give me space, I don't need your dap, I don't need your app. God validate me, don't need your double tap.
Been in the city, but we living different. Stay in the world, no, I keep that consistent. Holy and pretty, man, is what he give me, so you know that temple is staying conditioned. No, I can't be out here living for some likes. I'm on some father, help me show him life. I can't be out here heading towards the plains. I'm on my Romans, keep it unashamed. Ay, spirit on me, told him don't try, cause the spirit don't lead. See the R.I.P., but he set me free. RSVP, my eternity, okay. Child of a king, young queen, don't play. Been washed clean, let me get my Olay. Team still 116, I ain't gotta fear a thing, cause the good news, yeah, still says.
Turn a pulpit to a mosh pit. Fam on the up, yeah, we tight knit. Top going crazy from the profit. God's favorite vessel, I'm a prophet. Spirit on overflow, beat go sad. Please give me space, I don't need your dap, I don't need your app. God validate me, don't need your double tap.
God validate me, I can live free. No Sprite, no lean, baby, I'm clean. Got me, you can see me in a mosh pit. Overdose on the spirit's anointings. From ATL to VN things. From the US to see and think. God light in the masses of high beams. All these sunglasses, but I light it cleans. Baby, yes, baby, yes. I could devour its matches. I could American, nasty, tingy, strapped in. Baby, you miss me too clean. You cannot catch me, you cannot catch me, I'm glistening. Word on my tracks, but I'm spitting. Jehovah Jireh providing. Making up words like I'm poeting. Got the spirit laying on me, he covering, blanketing. God on our side, that's a dub, now we winning. Day on a chat, that's a dub, we still winning. J on a try, that's a judge, now we ginning. Jesus is purifying me, no more sinning. Yeah, we not done yet. Jesus purify me. No, I mean, we really not done yet. Okay. Big God, be pulling up. Got my 44 strap when I'm pulling up. I ain't talking no clicky, it's Bible stuff. Some 44 Jesus come through when I need it. My upper belly be pulling up. I get the Messiah on my side. Pulling up in the Lambo on my right. Baby, I'm not you, really, I'm not Clyde. Peep the mosh pit, baby, I'm inside. And it's NK, and that NK is for no kizzy.
Got too much to say, got so many things that he did in my life that I can't even mention. I was down on my bed trying to get right inside of my mind, but I knew I was slipping. I was just a young dude with ambition, hoping I'd be the one that they mention. Then I hopped on the interstate, moved to Atlanta, got signed, but something felt missing. It was hectic, he got me out of the storm, it was so reckless, they said it. This is not time in your school, let's give them the message. Hey, skeptics, come look at my life and you gon' see a different perspective. It's destined, that my heart was pierced just like a Celtic. We had to go. He said to step out the boat and just float. I talked to God and I went Holy Ghost. Seen the rose grow at the yellow brick road. I was just riding around the walls. I done launched out to the streets and them folks. That's why I'm taking a different approach. He the one that got me out of the storm. War, we in that. Give me that word, meditate. I'ma sit on that. God cooks up so high, but it's still in that. Keeping that real big guy, he invented that. Went to the grave 3 days, ain't been back. TPG, I claim I live that. Get that pain from my brain with a pen at. Yeah, I'm a witness, I'm a saint, you can mind my business. It was hectic. He got me out of the storm. It was so reckless, they said it. This is not time in your school, let's give them the message. They skeptics, come look at my life and you gon' see a different perspective. It's destined, yeah, my heart was pierced just like a Celtic. Presents, oh, I talked to God, he gave his presents. Fell in, I was by that water, then I fell in. When it got messy, ain't past Ronaldo. I feel like I had to carry the cargo. That's when he showed me the way at the sorrow. Nah, dog, no, it ain't borrowed. No, we not in Kansas. Before I was born, he was painting a picture. I feel like I live in a canvas. But I came from the wick, I ain't tryna be cool. I got nothing left but what you want me to do. I said, this for the Lord of my little brother Drew. The storm came, but you showed me the truth. He got me out of the storm, it was so reckless, they said it. This is not time in your school, let's give them the message. Hey, skeptics, come look at my life and you gon' see a different perspective. It's destined, yeah, my heart was pierced just like a Celtic. It was hectic, he got me out of the storm, it was so reckless, they said it. This is not time in your school, let's give them the message. Hey, skeptics, come look at my life and you you gon' see a different perspective. It's destined. Yeah, my heart was pierced like a Celtic. All this high school never really end. I got the same problems, no money, no friends. Yeah, the same girls set my line, still tryna date me. And the ones that stole my heart said they still just hate me. Will I ever learn my lesson? I'm a fiend for affection. Girl, I'm loving all your flaws, I'm not into imperfection. I always come last in the love race. Body full of heart, but now my dreams moving fast, so I'm hoping it'll all change. Oh, I pray my heroes don't become my foes. My mama pray I never sell my soul. Hoping I don't fall under the pressure. But every loss a lesson, deleted a lot of sessions, impressed by my impression. My old friends watch like Netflix, they wishing it was me. Dream state, sweepstakes, hoping that I find love. There's a lot out my head, said I never be enough. All this high school never really end. I got the same problems, no money, no friends. Yeah, the same girls set my line, still tryna date me. And the ones that stole my heart said they still just hate me. Will I ever learn my lesson? I'm a fiend for affection. Girl, I'm loving all your flaws, I'm not into imperfection. I always come last in the love race. Body full of heart, but now my dreams moving fast, so I'm hoping it'll all change. Love me when I'm famous, hate me when I'm nameless. If the world stay the same, I'll be trapped in the matrix. We got insecurities, immaturity, but everybody skip to love. I annoyed all my teachers, they bugging me for features. I guess it's just payback for hiding in the bleachers. It's okay if life is painful, a devil and an angel. They talking on my shoulder, telling me that I'm ungrateful. All this high school never really end. I got the same problems, no money, no friends. Yeah, the same girls set my line, still tryna date me. And the ones that stole my heart said they still just hate me. Will I ever learn my lesson? I'm a fiend for affection. Girl, I'm loving all your flaws, I'm not into imperfection. I always come last in the love race. Body full of heart, but now my dreams moving fast, so I'm hoping it'll all change.
So unity is a 5-letter word. U-N-I-T-Y. You know another 5-letter word that means the same thing?
Yeah, okay. 1, 2, 3 plus me. Monkeys in the barrel. Don't send no more cheese. Rub my bros and pearls. Stomp like 4, 5 feet from the road in there. Tribe looks so OP, son, you wouldn't dare. Yeah, like the Rat Pack live when we does that. And it's tap, tap, swipe, cause the buzz back. And I'm flying on my wife, that's a must-have. Baby said that I'm her only type. You know we gon' start a holly smoke every single time. And if somebody try my brother, I think I might start a riot. A messiah, give me peace of mind so I don't switch to violence. At the highest thing, I might be biased, you ain't gotta buy it. I decided if we build a son, we do it like the Mayans and the Giants playing I Spy. And now they wanna try it, ain't no island, better stay abiding. Tribe is multiplying, they been lying, and we high-fiving gangers on the rise. What's up?
Okay. All right. Signing back on. All right. All right, real quick. Don't forget, has everyone logged into the Google class? You guys seen what it's like? All right, because there's a lot of there's basically, it's a lot in the advance, so doing a high level overview, but definitely want to make sure you guys use the resources here to go through. So there's definitely some nice walkthroughs that I put in here for like creating a marketing plan, or like what is the brand voice that could follow up on it. There's more information on the cash flow statements and things like that you could take a deeper dive into. All right, so jumping into the part 2, and I just realized I never paused, so the recording got a nice audio break as well. All right. So for advanced cash flow, hold on 1 second. I want to do something slightly different. All right. I think I finally got it. All right. Can anyone share with the group, like does anyone know what cash flow is and why it's important? Any thoughts? Go ahead.
Is cash flow like the amount of money that's like guaranteed to come in from your business?
Not the guarantee. What you would be referring to, like, is if someone like signed a contract and they're supposed to pay you, and even then it's not technically guaranteed because they still got to pay you. But there's different forms of like what could be considered like guaranteed money. Like, let's say you got approved for a loan, yes, that would be guaranteed. Like if your business took out a business loan and they're like, oh, you got approved for $12,000, then that's guaranteed, but that's a loan. Any other thoughts on cash flow? I didn't see who raised their hands up first, but I saw Amy first. Okay, Amy. I'm not 100% sure, but when I looked, I saw you first.
Sorry. It thought I was like money moving. So is it like money moving? Oh, it says connection unstable. So like money moving in and out of your account, or like maybe transferring money? Yes.
Getting there. Money.
That was my guess.
Money.
Just money
Money is moving.
traveling, but I don't know where the money
ahead,
is
Jeremy.
going. Yeah.
Why
No,
don't
it's
you
your
Okay.
Why don't you help Amy out? What else? Wow,
You ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so 70% of what I was gonna say was unfortunately stripped away from me. So I just didn't show up on your list. But I think it's like how much money comes into the business, just like she was saying. And I put in the chat, it's kind of like from what I know, it's kind of like a futuristic payment, like it's an expected amount of money that you're gonna get in the future.
Okay. And Vonnie, you honestly know. What do you know? What do you know?
I meant to say I honestly don't know
Don't know.
because I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know. I really don't know.
All right. So I have a quick little video that's going to talk about cash flow. So get your notes ready, whether you're going to type it or write it with an actual instrument like a pen and paper. Is going to go over cash flow. All right, and then we're going to talk about it after.
Cash flow refers to the movement of cash into or out of an account, a business, or an investment. When cash inflows exceed outflows, this is generally considered to be a sign of good financial health, both for individuals and companies. Ed makes his living running Ed's Carpets. For Ed, cash flow is essential to the survival of his business as well as his personal finances. Having ample cash on hand ensures that Ed can pay his employees, his creditors, and himself on time, keeping the business afloat. The same goes for Ed. He needs enough cash in his personal bank account to pay for his house, his car, and other personal expenses. Whether we are talking about Ed or his business, there are generally three types of cash flows. 1. Operational cash flows refer to cash received or spent as a result of a company's business activities.
Sorry, I was on mute because I was chewing. I know it's moving fast. I want to pause it right there. So far, the video covered to what some of you alluded to. Cash flow is the flow of money coming in and or out of your business. So literally, how's it flowing, right? And right after that, they went over how for the business to succeed, you need a certain amount of cash flow. Basically, you need a certain amount of cash coming into your business for your business to be able to continue to operate. So this is they're going to go over 3 forms of cash flow. So the first one is the operational cash flow, cash received or spent as a result of a company's business activity. So you sold something, people signed up for what you got. That's cash flow received. Or you needed to spend money for some kind of business expense. So that's part of your operational cash flows, the ins and outs of that. All right, so they're going to jump into the next one. Ready?
Spent as a result of a company's business activities. For example, a business like Ed's Carpets brings in cash by selling carpets and sends cash out to pay employees and suppliers. Similarly, Ed pays himself a salary, providing cash flow to his personal account. Cash will flow out to pay for his expenses, such as food and housing. 2.
All right, so they just went over 2 forms of operational cash flows. So one form of operational cash flow is they make sales. They made enough sales so that they could pay the employees, which is good, right? So cash came in, some cash is going out to pay the employees, some cash is going out to pay the suppliers so they can make more product. And then the second operational cash flow of any business is how are you, the business owner, getting anything from it? So not only do you need enough cash flow to cover your operating expenses for employees, if you have any, or your supplies, you need to be able to pay yourself, right? So if your business isn't paying you, you're still on your way to profitability, which is a journey that many entrepreneurs have. Sometimes you do operate without having adequate cash flow when you're trying to start. But ideally, you get to a point where your business is paying for everything, your house, your car, your personal expenses, and everything. All right.
Such as food and housing. 2. Investment cash flows refer to cash received or spent through investing activities. Basically.
Oh, sorry. I'm trying to pause this so you guys could take notes. So 2 out of 3 types of cash flows is the investment cash flows. So the type of investing they're talking about, it could be different kinds of investing opportunities, but basically you're not selling product for this, you're not paying anybody, you're investing into the business. So they're going to go over an example of what an investment cash flow could look like next.
Or spent through investing activities. Basically, the purchasing and selling of assets that will help grow the business, or in the case of Ed, assets that will help increase his net worth. 3.
All right. This video link is in Google Classroom because I know they're kind of sailing through it. So does anyone know what they mean by asset? He said an investment could be buying and selling an asset. Go ahead, Jonathan.
Like something that is like crucial to someone or something, because I know like there's like assets and then like liabilities, I think. Like asset,
okay.
like depending on what it could do for the long run or like for the future. Like a car isn't really an asset because you could just walk, but also because the car's value the second you buy it will decrease as time goes on.
Yeah, you definitely have the right train of thought there, right? So assets are needs, right? So we need this, and you might have heard a term like you're an asset to the business, right? Meaning they need it. In terms of investing, you mentioned like how a car's value might go down. So ideally, an asset is something that's either going to hold its value or hopefully increase in value. So that way you can resell it when you're done with it. Go ahead, Jeremy.
Would an asset be like stocks and bonds and stuff like that?
It could be stocks and bonds.
That's more so a
Or
liability.
Well, in
'Cause,
terms
like-
of investing, it could be like if you take out a bond, it's a low risk and it's worth more money at the end of the term. But it could also be equipment, right? Like let's say, you get certain types of equipment that you're using, and then you want to upgrade to the newest versions. Most times you could sell your old equipment to at least put towards a new equipment. Like as a photographer, I could sell my old camera for some money and then put that money towards a new camera. But the asset classes could be very wide. It does depend on the business you're in. Another example is for a company, let's say that does their own, like I had a company come to clean our air ducts in the house because we have central air. They had a special truck that had this massive vacuum in it, and they connected that massive vacuum to the house's ducts. That's an asset for them, right? Because they need that vacuum truck, I'm calling it, to effectively clean all the ducts in the house. But let's say they want to get a newer truck. They're going to take that truck and turn around and say, okay, who else is trying to clean ducts? And then we're going to sell this truck to them because they could use it, but we're going to get the latest one. So really depends on the business and how it relates. But in a sense, something that your business is going to use or your business is going to hold, and then it could turn it around. Last example I'll give is your business might buy, I don't know, a little office building when you start. You have a nice little space for your business. Business grows, maybe you need a bigger space. You might turn around and sell that smaller space as you grow. So those are all like some examples of like investing in your business that you could turn around and later sell it. Cool. All right. So that's the second form of cash flow.
3. Financing cash flows refer to cash received through debt or paid out as debt repayments.
All right. So the third one is financing cash flows. So payments received through debt, that kind of leads into what some of you were talking about when you said money that's owed to you. So if people owe you money, that quote unquote is guaranteed money unless they decide not to pay you. So when you bill someone, hey, they owe you that money, right? They made an agreement or they made an order from you and that's supposed to come to you. Debt, payments received through debt could also be you took out a loan. Technically, that's kind of debt because it's like you didn't have the money, you took out a loan, you got the cash to get what you needed, but now you got to pay that company back, that lender back, the money that you borrowed from them. So ideally, you wouldn't over leverage that. And the same thing with credit cards. You might get a business credit card. As you spend on a business credit card, you're able to purchase things, but that's now debt that your business is building up. Or debt repayments, I guess. That's like paying back your loans, but they're going to go over that next.
What is debt repayments? For a company, issuing stock, paying down debt, and repurchasing shares would count as part of financing cash flows. For Ed, financing cash flows include any cash coming from loans or other types of debt, as well as payments going to pay down debts. If Ed's business comes up short on cash and is unable to pay its obligations, it will experience a cash flow crunch. To avoid insolvency, Ed will have to arrange some type of financing or bridge loan. A similar situation in Ed's personal accounts would also have disastrous effects that could lead to personal bankruptcy if the cash flow crunch persisted. For this reason, it is important that businesses and individuals manage their cash flow carefully and set aside emergency reserves to cushion any unexpected events.
All right, they went through a lot in that last little section. All right, so this first part, I won't focus on too much, but what they're talking about is when your company gets to a certain size, Like when you go from like an LLC and you incorporate your company, you then could issue stocks, whether it's private shares or you go public. So private shares, it's really a way to raise more money for your company. So when you hear people talk about Apple stock and Google stock and so on and so forth, those companies issued stocks on the stock exchange. And when you buy those stocks, that company's market, that company value goes up because you're putting money on Apple, right? So when you do that, that shows a public support of the company. There's also a private version of that where it's not on a stock exchange itself. It's just like they open it up. So I may start a company out and I might say, hey, S.O.A.R class, I'm launching this great company and you guys could all support me by buying shares of the company, $5 a share, right? So if everyone buys 10 shares, that goes to the company, and then we can use that to do our operations. When we make our profit and you want to sell your stock, we'll pay you back out. So that's one kind of cash flow cycle. And what they went on to talk about was the flow of getting the cash in, potentially taking out loans, but also having to pay back those loans. So that was kind of what I was talking about. Like, let's say you finance a new car or you take out a mortgage on a house. Those are all debts that you now have to pay on. So you buy a house for a certain amount, you have to pay that back monthly. Same thing with the car, unless you pay it in all cash with no balance on it. Does that part make sense? Buying a house, buying a car, having that debt. Okay, so what they're talking about when they say cash flow crunch is you now have this house, this car, maybe you're renting a building space, but if business slows down and every month you have $2,000 worth of debt to pay and your business only made $500, that's a big problem because now you can't pay your bills, right? So that's what they were referring to as a cash flow crunch. To get out of that, what some people might do is take out a loan. They might say, hey, bank, I need $50,000 to cover my expenses for a while, invest in marketing, maybe hire some people, whatever your plan is going to be. Sometimes you might take out a loan and that puts fresh cash back into the business so that you can try to operate your business, try to get out of that cash flow crunch. So that's why they recommend it toward the end, saying, hey, look, while you're making money and you're covering all your expenses, save money, put some money aside. So every business does this. Apple put aside, at one point, they had $400 billion in cash just on the side. They were selling iPhones like crazy, paying employees, paying all their expenses, and then putting cash aside for about a decade. And it was uncovered. They're like, what's Apple going to do with almost $500 billion in cash? But that is a very good business practice. So when you get to the point where you have some kind of cash flow, right? So Vonnie, you got your bakery going, people buying up your products, right? You want to make sure you put some money aside to buy new flour, dough, spices, all that good stuff, equipment, pay yourself, but also you want to have a savings budget. So out of every month, out of every pay period, it's like, all right, you put aside money that's going into a savings account. Everyone should be doing that, whether they're running their own business or they're getting a paycheck. You want to save some money because you want to have that in case things change and you're not getting money at the moment. So that savings could help you get through those times. Otherwise, if you don't have a savings, you're going to have to lean onto other kinds of debt like credit cards or loans. And that's something that you're going to go into more credit. We're going to go over credit in the next course with Dr. Mario. Any questions? I know that was a lot with introduction to cash flows. Any questions, thoughts? Everyone's good. So if I quiz everybody on cash flows, y'all tell me the 3 types of cash flows. Amy said yes. Go ahead, Amy. What's the 3 types of cash flows?
Okay, it's operational, investment, and financing.
Awesome.
I'm like,
Perfect.
Financial.
What financial? Isn't it financing? Oh, maybe
It's
I.
financial. It's
Well,
financial.
it's the same thing. I just
Not the
put
same
IN.
thing.
I put
Financial.
IN.
Financing, buddy.
Oh, you see
Financial. No,
Ooh,
no,
financial.
no. It's financial. It's financial.
It's financing.
Look,
All right.
I watched a video similar to this. It's financial.
It says right there. Look, financing.
Okay, but it's financial.
Okay,
All
financial.
right.
Cash
Moving on. I guess Jonathan has his own version of it. All right. So yeah, so from a high level, cash flow is a movement of money in and out of your business. So you definitely want to understand that. And what that means is you want to write these things down when you're starting your business. How much money am I getting? And where is it going? These are things as a business owner you want to track, but you can even apply this to your personal life, your personal cash flow. If you start a job, okay, how much money am I getting? How much am I saving? What am I spending it on? This is something that will never change in life. All right. So there's personal cash flows, business cash flows. You want to keep track of that because the goal is to make sure that you're getting more cash in than that needs to go out. So that way you don't have to incur debt. So debt is when you don't have enough cash and now you're borrowing money using credit cards or you taking out loans because you don't have it. So yeah, in other words, cash flow is the measurement of the amount of cash that comes into and out of your business in a particular period of time. All right. So we're gonna go a little deeper. We already talked about that. Thank you, Amy. No, quote, forgetting where I got this quote, but a wise person once said, revenue is vanity, profit is sanity, cash is reality. What do you guys think that means?
I've seen this statement before, but I never understood what it means.
So the revenue, right, is just how much money the business made, period. So that's that top level number, right? I'm gonna use Vonnie again because I like French bakeries. So Vonnie's business made, had $1 million in revenue this month. Now, what's the profit? What's the difference between profit and revenue? Go ahead, Ernest.
I think revenue is the amount of money that goes in before like taxes and deductibles are done. And then profit
And
is the actual amount of money you make.
right. So to get your profit, when you look at your revenue, she might have made $1 million in revenue, but out of your revenue, you have expenses. So let's say she's paying employees and bakers a lot of money. She's paying them $200,000 a month. And then the items to make all of these great food is another $200,000. And then you have marketing and bills to pay. That's $100,000. That's $500,000 there. So the profit from $1 million might be $500,000. So the profit, they say, is sanity because that's after all of your expenses are taken out of your revenue. And then from there, you might still have some other small fees and things that happen, but cash is the reality. Saying what ends up in your bank account after it's all said and done, that's what you're dealing with. So the reason that statement is important is because as you go along, a lot of times you might get asked, what is your gross income? Gross income is before taxes, before expenses. And that's how lenders might give you credit cards. But you have to remember, before the taxes and expenses, it's vanity, right? It's like, it sounds great, $1 million in revenue, but you also want to look at what are the expenses, what's coming out of that. All right. We're gonna power through here. We're gonna jump into what's called bookkeeping. So this last portion is kind of going over how you do what we talked about. How do you actually manage your cash flow? So from a high level, we're talking about bookkeeping, right? And again, there's resources in Google Class that's going to walk you through. There's a video that's on there that's like 8 minutes or so that walks through some examples of cash flow statements and doing them. But yeah, bookkeeping is, you got to record these things and you want to get used to the terms, but realistically, you have to have a history of what's happening in your business. So there's softwares out there that you can use that automatically tracks this stuff for both personal and for business. There's software that you link your debit card or your credit card to that can track this, or you manually enter what you're doing. You generate a cash flow statement from those records. So you write down what you're spending, what you're making, and then you get your cash flow statement. So definitely take a note of this, cash flow statements. If you guys ever watch Shark Tank, when people go on there and they have a business that they're operating and they want to grow the business, the first thing they jump into, the sharks, is what does your cash flow look like? And they want to know, how much is your product? How much are you selling your product for? How much did you make last year? What are your expenses? How much does it cost to make your product, right? If it costs you $5 to make your product and you're selling the product for $6, that's a bad business model, right? Because your sale price shouldn't be so close to your let's say your manufacturing price, right? If it costs you $5 to make. Now, what are some reasons that you might be making a product? Let's say what might cost a bunch of money to make? Let's say it costs $5 to make a fancy what's those things called? A croissant. Costs $5 to make the croissant, and you're selling it for $6. What are some reasons that the margin might be so close? It might only be a dollar more. Go ahead, Jeremy.
I think it might be close because you still want it to be affordable, right? So let's say that on the market it's like $5, like it's usually $5, but you're selling yours for $6, meaning if you're selling it for more, it tastes better, right? But since it's so close to $5, more people would probably buy yours because, one, it's not too far off from $5, and two, with more money, it means it should taste better, or it would give you a, I don't know, healthier effect on your body or something.
Well, that's thinking of the marketing, but like in terms of the cash flow, right? Do you think that's a problem that it costs you $5 to make each one? Go ahead, Ernest.
You did say it's like $1 more than your manufacturing price, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then I think that would be good, because you're making, I think, more profit than you are like losing money. Like
Spending.
Yeah.
So from a high level, it might seem good, and I'll say this: it's functional, but you really want to have a good margin beyond what it costs to make something and how much you're selling it for. And I'll tell you why. If it costs you $5 to make it and you're only making $1 off of each one, the amount of croissants you need to sell to actually cover expenses is probably going to be crazy. You're probably going to need to sell, 10 times the amount of folks that are making it for $1 and selling it for $4. Right? Because a 1-to-4 ratio, you're getting $3 off of each one. So a rule of thumb is, ideally on like basic items, you want to sell your item at least 3 times the amount it costs to make. So if it costs you $2, ideally you want to do 2 times 3, sell it for $6, because you have to take into account your expenses, and your expenses could include, it includes making the thing, marketing the thing, paying yourself at minimum. Those are like 3 basic items. All right. All right, not real quick. We're gonna walk through this cash flow statement So some of the things we talked about from a high level, but I just want to put a visual up so you guys could actually look at it and see. So net income, AKA revenue, that's at the top of your cash flow statement, right? So this is a month, this is 1 month of business for Big Texas mechanical bull rentals service. Addition to cash, the depreciation, increase in accounts payable. So depreciation is the government allows you to write off certain equipment. So they're a bull rental company. So when you buy something brand new, you can usually charge some of that back to get a tax write-off when you file your taxes. Increase in accounts payable, you know, that could be, you know, more revenue that you're generating. And then you have your subtractions from cash, right? Accounts receivable, that means more people owe you money. So you have some money that's owed to you. Increase in inventory, maybe you got some new items. So after you take your top line revenue numbers and you take these things into account, you got $8,000 in cash out of it. That's what this is saying. So basically, typically when you're doing it on a software or something like that, the red means it's coming out of the items on top. And then cash flow from investing. So in this scenario, the investment was purchase of more equipment. A lot of times, oops, I didn't mean to do that. A lot of times you're investing in equipment because for something like a bull rental, right? Why would you buy more bulls, let's say, in a business like this, that you're way of renting out these items?
Could you repeat that?
For this example, where they're renting out these mechanical bulls, what's one reason that you might buy another bull? You might drop $2,000 to purchase another bull.
More demand. Like
more demand.
You attract more people to whatever. I don't know. It could be a bar or something that has it, or it could be like, I don't know, something like that. And if more people take notice of how, like, if people are gonna spread the word about where you're at, so more people means you need more supply to match the demand.
And also more revenue, right? If you only had 2 bulls and you make it a certain amount of money, you get a 3rd bull, that's going to be more that you're collecting on. So sometimes the investment is literally just growing your business. Yeah, so cash flow from financing, notes payables, I was saying it's another $7,000 that's coming in from the financing angle. So this is a high level example of cash flow, and I know it's a lot. I don't want you guys to get too caught up in it, but we went over the high levels for today. Please, for this one specifically, go to the Google class, and giving you kind of a homework here. Go to the Google class tomorrow, whenever you have time, and you could go to the cash flow statements one, and that's where you'll find the video that breaks down the details of cash flow. Take some notes. I mean, it's good to understand from a high level. Any questions, let me know. But it's good to understand so that way when you're doing your pitch, you want to have an idea of, is there a cost with what I'm doing? How do I cover those costs? And how do I, based on the cost, you then set your price accordingly for what you're doing. So like Amy with the makeup, you know, you're gonna have to look into like, well, how much does it cost me to actually make the makeup, right? Getting a supplier, getting all these things together, marketing it, packaging it, might cost a certain amount per item. Then that's how you decide the price for each item. For you though, Jeremy, your cash flow is gonna look a little different, right? Because you're not selling a physical product, you're selling a service. So when you do that, you're more so looking at your time. You're looking at how long does it take me to actually sell a house, right? For most real estate agents, when you're doing a straight real estate, you're getting a percentage of that home sales. The house sells for $200,000, you might get 5% of that, something like that, right? But in between time, you have to do marketing, making business cards, and you're investing in other ways still. All right. So I do apologize. I know it was a lot, and believe it or not, I still have more slides here, but we do have to pause now so you guys could do the end of class survey. So it is in the chat. Wait, it's not in the chat. My wife sent it to me. Hold on.
Also, while Professor J is looking for the survey, does anyone have any questions about the 2 projects that you all have been assigned, one or the other?
Oh yeah, I had a slide for that.
Yeah, we just want to make sure no one has any questions. They're due at the end of this series, right? So the same way the other presentations were due, and your final products are due at the end of this course. So my question to you all was, we offered some time last block to give you guys time to have one-on-one mentoring with one of the mentors, or you guys could kind of work with one another. We want to offer that again to you either on a Monday or a Wednesday, but you guys have to let me know what works best for you. So we could do it next Monday or next Wednesday, where you guys can sit and start to kind of hash out and start brainstorming what you're going to be working on, whether it's the presentation. Everyone needs to have a resume. And we will be talking about the resume writing in the class that I'll be covering. So prepare yourselves for that, but at least try to have a draft ready. And then we could go over that when we go through the resume building class. All right.
We have a question.
I dropped the link in the chat.
Okay, cool. What was your question, Jerry?
So earlier in the meeting, Professor J said that it was like an interview. So for the resume, would it be like you interviewing us with the whole class here, or would it just be us, like how it says there, outlining everything that we have on our resume?
So the interview is, when you say, is it interviewing you as a class or as an individual in front of the class?
The second one. Are you interviewing us as an individual in front of the class?
Yes, and it will be in front of the class, like similar to how it was structured in the last block for the fundamentals. So everyone who chooses to do the interview, you don't have to do the interview. You can do the presentation, but you have the option to do either the presentation or the interview. As far as the project is concerned, everyone has to have at least a draft resume, but you can also, if you decide to do the presentation, then you can also, do that as part of the end of course assessment. You understand?
Yes, thank you for the clarification.
No problem. And that's a good question. So again, you have the resume and you have, which is mandatory, and then you have the optional PowerPoint presentation. All right. So if you decide that you want to do the presentation at the end, like how you did your pitch presentation, but this one would be with a PowerPoint, you can do that, but just know you still have to create at least a shell of a resume. If you're doing if you're doing the interview, then your resume has to be all the way put together. I mean, either way, it should be all the way put together, but I would focus more on the presentation if that's what you guys are going to decide to do. We just want to make sure that you guys know how to put a resume together. And we're going to work with you on that as well. But good question, Jerry.
I had a question. So the interview is optional, or does it go with the resume? Like you have to get interviewed with your resume.
Right. So you could either, if you decide to do the presentation along with the resume, then you can either do the interview, or you can choose to just do the presentation, like to present your work. as opposed to just sending us your presentation and saying, here, this is the project, this is my final project due, here it is. So you can decide to do the presentation or the resume. You have the resume we're requiring as a mandatory, as a mandatory submission. The presentation is optional. If you decide to do the presentation and then let's say you also have to do the resume, you can decide whether or not you want to do the interview or just present your work for the PowerPoint. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So we were going to make it optional for both, but I think the resume is, definitely important for you guys to have because you can always build upon that.
So you have this Thursday will be advanced credit mindfulness this Thursday, and then next week, Tuesday will be business writing, resume building. And then next week, Thursday we'll go over communication through presentations. So next week gives you an opportunity to kind of build on whatever you start this week for your resume and your presentations. And then the week after that will be the and of course presentations on the 22nd. Just to give you guys kind of a timeline.
Right. So with that, what day are you guys, or would you guys want to do the extra hour on a Monday or a Wednesday, just to kind of have, yes, and 1 month away from the gala. Would you guys want to have that extra hour for you to work on just your projects? So it wouldn't be there would be no instruction that day. It would just be you guys joining. Sorry, it would just be you guys joining online. And just, collaborating with one another, showing each other your work, getting feedback from each other. And that would just be an hour of that.
I think Wednesday will probably be a good day for me.
Okay, so
I
is
can only
everyone
do
good with,
Mondays. I can only do Mondays.
Mondays? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What about everybody else? Monday looks like Jonathan said.
I don't do anything, so like any day works for me, yo.
Who's that? Is that Ernest?
Yeah.
Ernest.
Okay. All right. So it looks like, I guess it's a Monday. Oh, yeah. It looks like Monday is our board meeting. I just got reminded that Monday is our board meeting. However, we can. Oh, and I'm also hosting. Oops. What about tomorrow? Tomorrow's Wednesday. And tomorrow or the 21st.
Amy can't do Wednesday.
Oh, Amy can't do Wednesdays at all. Okay.
But we could do the 21st.
I'm not even looking at the calendar. The 21st, is that the day? No, the 21st is
the 21st is a Friday, right? Oh, no. So Wednesday, right?
No, the 21st is a Monday, but it's the day before our networking event. I mean, it's the day of our networking event.
It is a networking event. You're right.
Yeah.
And Monday the 14th is Toy's birthday, so we'll be out.
Yeah. Well, that I figured, but I said as long as I'm on and maybe one other person, we could still do it because it's really them just meeting and us just being there to kind of provide support.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So
what about if it's the board meeting is usually 6:30?
Yeah.
So what if you guys get on at 6 and I do just a half hour with you, if possible?
So what we could do is 6 to 7 and maybe start our board meeting at 7 and then just go from 7 to 8:30 as opposed to 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Would you guys be okay with Monday the 14th? 6 to 7? You can unmute because I'm not. Just let me know. Unmute.
Okay, I'm
Yeah,
okay with that
yeah, I
day.
think that works for
Okay,
everybody.
all
Works
right.
for
So
me.
awesome. So Monday, the 14th, from 6 to 7, we'll get online. I'll be there for support, and whoever else from our team will hopefully be able to join, and then we'll, you guys can ask questions. You guys can kind of show some of the work that you've worked on so far, get some feedback, and we'll go from there. All right. And then that following Tuesday, that's actually the class that I'm gonna be able to, that I'm actually gonna be teaching, rather solo dolo, because my counterpart is actually not going to be available that day. So pray for me. Right. All right. So that's it, Professor J. I just told Toya I was going to mention it and see what worked for everyone.
Okay.
All right. Thank you,
Cool.
guys. I'll send out a
Sounds good.
separate invite for that.
Cool. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.
Good night.